Module 5, we are going to use the wall and maybe the edge of your bed to help you to have some down training for the pelvic floor and to stretch some very common hip muscles that relate to pelvic floor dysfunction. And so we're gonna have this as our restorative yoga module. And we're gonna stretch some hip muscles that are very commonly tied in with pelvic pain and low back pain. So I'm gonna have you bring your butt about a foot away from the wall, have a nice blank wall space in your house, and we're gonna start with both legs straight up the wall, okay? So this exercise is for bringing out the hamstring tightness at all. Now this is more restorative type practice, so you're not going to feel a great stretch when we start the exercise, but as we hold this exercise for 2 minutes, at least 90 seconds, we get to relax the limbs into the wall. We get to breathe. So you're feeling your whole body just kind of melt into the surfaces here. Now, if you're not feeling anything at all after about 30 to 45 seconds, scoot a little bit closer to the wall, okay? So the closer we get to the wall, the more of a stretch there is. But here's what we're gonna focus in on the pelvis. If you're getting so close to the wall that your pelvis is lifting off the ground, then we've got to scoot back. So Willie, show us that. Show us what happens when you get so close to the wall. Yeah, really try to scoot in there. And there'll be a point where, yeah, you see that? Where like the pelvis is kind of lifting up a little bit. And then what's happening there is the back is curling. Well, we don't want that. The pelvis is not in a good position. So then you just scoot back an inch when you get to that point. You're gonna find that happy medium between a stretch that is too much or not enough is just right, where you're feeling a little bit challenged, but you're able to totally melt your body. You're able to breathe fully, and you're able to relax, okay? So that's the hamstrings. Our next exercise is we gently bring both feet wide apart. We're gonna keep the knees relatively straight. You're gonna glide your feet apart a comfortable distance. And again, there's gonna be a point where you start to feel a stretch on the inner thighs. You feel that? Okay, so again, you might have to dial in or out of the wall a little bit to find that perfect amount of stretch. So we're here, we're breathing, we're expanding the pelvic floor and the low back and the low pelvis on the inhale, and we're allowing those tissues to recoil on the exhale. And just letting the weight of your legs relax into the wall. Feeling your sacrum, those bones between the left and right side of the pelvis, feeling the sacrum relax towards the table. And after 2 minutes here, we're going to move into our next stretch, also for the adductors. We're going to bend both knees and bring the feet totally flat against the wall. So this is like a big wide sumo squat, okay? So then here, you get to decide if you want more of a stretch. You can move, there's two options. You move your feet farther apart, okay? You feel that stretch? Yeah, you feel that right away. Now, if you're still not feeling it, you can also scoot your butt closer to the wall, okay? And then you just gotta find that position where you're able to relax your body, you're able to keep your pelvis flat against the, let's say the yoga mat, or if you're doing this on your bed, make sure that you're able to feel your pelvis stay flat against the ground. So we're holding this pose, again, 90 seconds to 2 minutes minimum, maybe upwards to 5 minutes if you get more experienced. And as you're trying this, you're just trying to become better at letting your body relax. We're emphasizing the exhales. So every exhale, you're just letting your body melt into the ground. You're letting your feet and legs relax into the ground. So if you happen to not have the wall nearby, you can do the same stretch. It's grabbing the knees and just gently hugging the knees apart. The cool thing about having a wall is that you don't have to do anything at all. You're just letting gravity, the wall, the ground, do all the work so that you can focus on down training the pelvic floor, getting your pelvic floor to relax, or let's say giving it the opportunity to relax. Okay, our next exercise. Good stretch, right? Especially after holding it a long time. Now we're going to stretch the piriformis, which is a muscle very tied in with sciatic type pain and sacral pain. And so what we're going to do is bring the left ankle to the right thigh. And we're going to apply this same type of principle here. So notice how Willie's pelvis is lifting up a little bit here. So we're going to have to scoot back, right? Nicely done. So you feel the difference? It's all about getting your body into a nice, stable position, and then a little bit of dorsiflexion here with the toes pulling up towards the knee. It really concentrates the pressure into the left hip. And then with this leg that's on the ground, you dial in the heel directly behind the toe, and you'll feel the stretch change depending on if the toes are pointed out or pointed in. And again, we're holding this pose for about 2 minutes. Again, the option, if you do not have the wall, is simply to grab your knee on the stable leg with both hands, and then you hug the legs up towards the chest. So go ahead and show us that, Willie. And then now, you see how much work that is for the arms, especially, if we're tight in this left hip, that's a lot of work, okay? So that's why it's great to have the wall. So let's show them what that looks like on the other side. Got the right ankle on the left thigh. Now really make sure this ankle is all the way over on the thigh. We dorsiflex. Now here, notice on his right side, we're so tight that the pelvis is starting to twist off to the left. So scoot back another inch, and then the other cue to try here is reach through the right sit bone. Try to reach those sit bones towards the wall. So try to get your whole pelvis reaching towards the wall. And you feel that stretch, maybe a little more accentuated even than before. You've got the ankle flexing, you're relaxing the body. So for us tight guys, this practice is all about putting us in a safe, stable position. The whole body's able to relax, even the arms. You just get to feel how when we are breathing into the tissues, we're moving the tissues, we're noticing how tight muscles in the piriformis, in the hamstrings, in the groin, they might be directly related to the pelvic floor pain. And one way to deal with the pelvic floor pain is to stretch and mobilize every tissue, every muscle that's coming into the pelvis, including these very important big hip muscles. Okay, so we'll gently come on out of that stretch, and then to finish it all off, you're going to push into the wall and lift the pelvis off the table. So it's very similar to a nice little bridge, and what that does is just activate the backside of your body again. You're pushing your feet into the wall, trying to extend through all the toes. Taking some breaths there, and then release the pelvis back to the ground. And you're ready to go about your day or go to sleep.